story and teaching us about his faith and practices. But first, let's hear from some gentlemen about religious celebrations that happened in the month of March while we were away from school. They'll remind us just how big this world is and how filled with faith and powerful belief can be.
Ash Wednesday is one of the most popular holidays in the Christian and Catholic community. Ash Wednesday was celebrated this year on March 1st. On this day, the religious followers are blessed by a priest in the sign of the cross with ashes made from burnt palm trees. This holiday is the opening and the first day of the season called Lent. Lent is a religious season lasting 40 days, representing the 40 days that Jesus Christ spent traveling and fasting through the desert. On Ash Wednesday, Christians and Catholics give up one thing for 40 days to honor Jesus' sacrifices for his followers and his fathers.
For me, from a very young age, going to a Jewish day school growing up, we used to get dressed up, and I like to think of Purim as kind of the Jewish version of Halloween. You wear a costume, you get treats, party. It's pretty fun. I remember from a very young age always going to school that day, probably the most fun day of the year. But Purim's mostly about how the Jewish people gathered to stop this bad man named Haman from killing the Queen Esther.
So I'm up here to talk about the reincarnation of the Virgin Mary, which is something a lot of Catholics in Mexico celebrate, especially my family and I. So the reincarnation of the Virgin Mary, which in Spanish is called La Reencarnación de la Caminata de la Virgen de la Reencarnación, also called La Novena, is a prayer that you pray when the Virgin Mary got pregnant in March 25th, throughout December 25th, when Jesus was born. And you celebrate, I celebrated with my family by praying each night a prayer called La Novena, which is called La Novena because it's 9 months, and nueve is 9 in Spanish. And I prayed but with my mom. We walk around like my house praying it because you're supposed to pray it while walking. That's what it's called, La Caminata. That's walking in Spanish. And it's something that lasts 9 months, and I don't know if a lot of people practice it, but it's something that me and my mom take very serious because we as Catholics worship the Virgin Mary a lot, and my mom and I also worship it a lot. We have like 90 paintings of her in my house or something like that, and it's something that we take very seriously. Thanks.
Today we will be talking a bit about the Hindu New Year. In India there are many religions, and each of them have their own New Year. But most people also celebrate it January 1st, as most of us do. One of the religious Hindu New Years is called Ugadi. It is celebrated either in March or in April, depending on the year. This year it was celebrated the 29th of March. To celebrate this day, there are different things people do. They draw colorful patterns on the floor, and it is called kolamulus. They hang up mango leaf decorations on doors called toranalu. They give charity to the poor, eat pachadi, which is a yogurt plate, and they visit the Hindu temples. Thank you.